Hey guys, what's up and welcome back. Today we have some breaking news. Another school shooting has occurred this morning at Saugus High School in Clarita, California, where two students, I believe a 16-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy, have passed away and had said to have been killed by one student gunman who was also hospitalized for self-inflicted wounds to the head. Of course, this story is still developing, but right at this point, I'm going to let you know what everybody else knows, and I will be reporting on it as it develops. All right, let's break this thing down.
We received a 911 call of a shooting at Saugus High School. Within seconds, we received multiple calls, and within 2 minutes, at 7:40, our first units arrived on scene and encountered, in the quad area of the school, multiple victims, gunshot wounds. There were a total of 6 victims who were promptly triaged and transported to the local hospitals for treatment. Among those who were transported, it turned out to be the suspect, who is currently in the hospital in grave condition. And he's a male, Asian, 16 years of age, and a student of the school. The other 5 students, I'll have Captain Wegner provide their demographics. The school was locked down. They did partial evacuation. We also sheltered in place a portion of the school until we established who was responsible for this tragic shooting. The surrounding schools in the area were also placed on lockdown as a precaution. We did identified who the shooter was through firsthand witnesses, video surveillance. We confirmed it. We then executed a search warrant at the residence of the suspect, and now we're going through the very lengthy process of conducting a thorough investigation to figure out what happened and why.
All right, guys. Whether or not this 100% for sure happened, that part's irrelevant. What we must know is how do they plan to use this event against the American people. Anybody with half a brain must know that these gun-free zones, aka criminal empowerment zones, are the root problem behind all of these shootings. When true hardened criminals are asked if they will abide by gun-free zone policies, they have all replied no, and that they will remain armed regardless of any law or any policy. So, inadvertently, this rule will only apply to non-criminal members of society. Therefore, will leave criminals armed and regular, non-violent, unarmed people defenseless.
At the same time, we're busy now doing the reunification with the students with their parents. And all of the affected students have been notified, their families have been notified, and they're with them currently. So I'm now going to turn this over to Captain Wegner.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is Captain Kent Wegener, W-E-G-E-N-E-R. I'm the captain of Sheriff's Homicide Bureau. This morning at 7:38, Santa Clarita Station received a call of a 245 just occurred, an assault with a deadly weapon, a shooting that had just occurred at 21900 Centurion Way in Santa Clarita at Saugus High School. Upon arrival within 2 minutes, Santa Clarita deputies recognized that it was an active shooter situation and conducted a rapid deployment onto the school premises. When they reached the quad area, they discovered 6 persons who were suffering from gunshot wounds. These were all students of the high school. All the students were triaged and transported to a local hospital. The suspect was later identified as one of the victims who was found in the quad. He is identified as a 16-year-old male whose birthday is today. The weapon that he used was recovered at the scene. It's a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, which had no more rounds in it, had no more bullets in it. He is a resident in the 22900 block of Sycamore Creek Drive in Santa Clarita. That location was contained by sheriff's deputies, and a cursory search was done to identify any other potential victims which may be at the location. there were none there. It is now being contained. A search warrant is being written, and it will be conducted to process that scene for evidence. We are in the process of interviewing students who were witnesses to this incident. Some of those students are being taken to, are still at the high school in a multi-purpose room, and other students are at Grace Baptist Church, where they will be interviewed by sheriff's homicide detectives. Additionally, we have scenes at the quad at the school to process the crime scene there, a team at the suspect's house, a team at two different local hospitals. And we have another team that's working with our tech crew to process any video which we may be able to get from the surveillance system at the high school.
Now guys, I've went over this several times, and like this guy just said, he has his tech team on the mission of finding school security cam footage. When the first guy that spoke, Alex, the sheriff, he quoted that they found the shooter and confirmed his identity through the school cameras. Now this guy is going back over top of him and saying that they have people in there right now collecting the school footage. So how is it that they've done use the school camera footage to determine who the shooter is, when yet this guy says they're just now collecting it so they can go back and look through it?
The FBI is here, and they are collaborating with us to preserve and capture any cell phone video which the students may have captured of this incident at the time that it happened.
Which we will probably never
The
get to
suspect's
see.
girlfriend and his mother are at Santa Clarita Station with detectives currently. Detectives have reviewed the video at the scene, which clearly show the subject in the quad withdraw a handgun from his backpack, shoot and wound 5 people, and then shoot himself in the head. There are no other subjects who are outstanding as part of this incident or who took part in this assault.
So now confirmed, there's even
The
cell
victims
phone
who are
footage
hospitalized,
of the whole thing.
and I regret to say that at 9:23 this morning, one of the female victims, age 16, passed away. Her parents are at the hospital. There's another female victim, age 14, another female victim, age 15, and 2 male victims, each 14 years of age. Again, this is preliminary information. I know there are rumors out there about social media posts and different videos that may have been posted from the scene. We will be looking into that. At this point, I don't have any information about that.
All right, so nobody knows for sure yet what the main agenda is. It could be, trying to pass laws upon social media to infringe on our First Amendment, and our right to freedom of speech. Or it could be to, try to knock out the Second Amendment again. I mean, they're always going for our guns, regardless of the situation, where it's at, when it is, no matter what. They're always going to be trying to get our firearms. Because until they can get our firearms, they cannot fully step in and control us. But what we know as of now, criminals, cops, and politicians who are all taken care of on the precious penny of the taxpayer are allowed to have guns anywhere at any time. But we the people can't. And if we're caught with it on the so-called gun-safe zones, then we'll be imprisoned for it. And we'll have our rights stripped away, and then we'll be treated as the criminal. Alright, I got one more thing I want to lead out with, guys. If 2 or 3 of these shootings, or even 10 of the shootings, can justify removing guns from Americans, then how come the thousands upon thousands of videos online that show cops murdering, abusing, and harassing and continuously, infringing on the Constitution, how can they circulate 24/7 and nobody says nothing to the cops? See, guys, the powers that be in this country, they clearly are judging us based off the old saying, one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. But when it comes to them, as in the police or politicians, it could be 75 or 80 or even up in the 90s, close to 100 bad apples. And it still, for some reason, doesn't spoil the whole bunch. I mean, it's just a clear, corrupt way of controlling people. And that's all it is. It's a corrupt way to control people, and it puts everybody's life in jeopardy. And this old saying has stood the test of time, and for a purpose and a reason, because it's true. An armed society will always be a safer and free society, because it holds the wrongdoers fully 100% accountable for their actions. And guys, that's all I got for now. I'm going to stay up on this topic, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll be putting out more videos on this event as it develops. So until then, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.